Okay, it's the beginning of August. I got way more cucumbers coming out of my garden than I could possibly eat. So what do? I don't feel like canning yet. Well, Refrigerator Pickles is the answer. Take your cucumbers, the skin's tough, peel them down. I'm going to slice them thin, onions. Well, let me just show you. Well, first I want to get my pickling mix going on the stove, so I'm going to take a cup and a half of sugar. I actually reduced mine down to a cup. I'm going to take a cup and a half of white vinegar. Take 1 teaspoon of mustard seed. Actually, it's a half teaspoon. Half teaspoon of mustard seed. Half teaspoon of turmeric. That turmeric. Half teaspoon of celery seed. And a half teaspoon of that coarse kosher salt. See? And get that on the stove. Bring it to a boil. As soon as the sugar is dissolved, that will be ready to go over our cucumbers. I'm thin slicing about 6 cups of cucumbers and 2 cups of white onion. Now, I peeled them. You don't have to peel them. I simply peeled them because the skins were getting a little tough. They're just as good unpeeled if the skins are soft. Once you have your onions and cucumbers thin sliced, you simply layer alternating the cucumbers and the onions. Break them onions up. Remember, a thin slice is going to work well for you. Do it up. Of course, you can double the recipe or cut it in half, depending on what size container you have or how much of what you have. I increased this recipe a little bit just for the amount of cucumbers I have. In fact, I still have a few left over. Alright, now that that's done, next step. Okay, so my pickling mix came to a boil, so now I'm simply going to pour it over my cucumbers and onions. And, as you can see, just about makes it to the top. Simply going to take a piece of saran now, cover it, and I will leave this on the counter for 24 hours, and I'll show you what that looks like. It's 24 hours later. I'll pull the cover off of these and you can see how those cucumbers settled right down into the juice. It's well absorbed. Now the thing to do is put it in glass containers or Tupperware, and I must warn you, if you do use Tupperware, use old Tupperware because it will stain your Tupperware. You'll have nice yellow Tupperware from this pickling mix. Cover it, put it in the refrigerator. They're ready to eat. They're ready to eat right now. They've got a nice delicate crunch, and you can see they're pickled through. That's a good pickle. Sweet and delicious. But they're better cold, so I'm sticking them in the fridge.